Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new episode of your Frederish podcast. Yes, once again, me right here, right now with you guys. My name's Gary, and I am, just as usual, your host for the day. So sit down, relax. Thanks for the company, and let's start it off. Let's talk about our topic for today. And what is it? Yes, you didn't misread the title. It is AI. So for those of you who have no idea what AI stands for, it is artificial intelligence. Yes. Now, certainly the name is clarifying something in your mind. So let's jump into it right now. Oh, before I forget, did you already catch your popcorn, your soda, your coffee, whatever it takes for you to relax? Okay, so let's go for it. All right, so lately, when I say lately, I mean in the past 10 years, the name AI has been present in basically everywhere. Every conversation we have about computer, about internet, about this kind of technology, these two simple words are present or are usually present, all right? I risk to say that everyone who is, at least younger than, say, 50 years, right? Who's already know at least what these words mean. What is, the concept of artificial intelligence, right? And more than that, I would say that not only the quote unquote youngsters, right? In this case, in this context, know what artificial intelligence is. Everyone uses it. Everyone who's on the internet somehow, who uses online apps and things like that, and also people that use cell phone. At least somehow they use electronical devices. All right, this is something that has indisputably revolutionized the way we live, right? The way we relate to each other on our day-to-day, on a daily basis, right? On the daily activities. All right, so without any necessary explanation, this is something that it's inevitable, for the future of humanity, right? It is important to say, most of all, guys, is that I am not a specialist, okay? I'm not an expert on the topic, okay? I'm not even an expert or someone who knows a lot about technology in general, okay? I'm just a curious guy, and the purpose of this chat here is for you to, listen to what I'm saying, get something, from it, and most of all, and more importantly, practice English. All right, keep this, in your mind. This conversation, take it away. Right? Talk to friends, talk to your teacher if you have one, to your colleagues, those who can speak English, of course, or even in Portuguese. But then it's another something, basically. All right. Okay. So again, to clarify and to wrap it all up. Okay, expression here meaning to simplify things, to wrap all up. Okay, wrap like WRAP. Okay, wrap something up is like exactly when you buy something and you want to give it to someone, like for a birthday present or something, you're gonna wrap it. Okay, you're gonna revolve it with some kind of plastic or colorful paper. You get the picture, you get the point. All right, so to wrap it all up, I am no expert, okay, on the subject, so don't take anything I say here as like a final word. I mean, you shouldn't do that anywhere, anyways, right? But anyway, don't take me, as an expert, okay, on the topic, because I'm totally not. All right. Having said that, let's just jump into it. Okay, so what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? Okay. Well, to the best of my knowledge, is the fact that the online platforms today when I say platforms, I mean like where information is storage. Okay, it possesses so much of our written and recorded, right? Things, videos, audio, things we write, that it is possible for them to start figuring out the patterns that comprise, that create, that are involved in the way we act, to put it in quite simple terms, or to put it as simple as possible in this point. So this is what I understand, AI is. Okay, so the more we use the internet, the more we use machines. I mean, not all machines, but not every and all machines, but computer, social media, YouTube, when we're recording, we're speaking, our cell phones, of course, because it's something that we use either to record voice messages or videos if you're a vlogger or something like that, or even to write stuff. That is like at least 99% of people today do that, right? Not to say 100%, but probably that's it. That's 100%, right? So yeah, we use that, and we're inevitably delivering. We're delivering these things that can be codified that can be codified and through these codes, basically, right? Let's put it this way. The computer, okay, that is the memory that they have it stored somewhere or anywhere. There are probably many of them, right, around, right? Certainly Google has its own, Meta has its own, and so on, right? And it's there, and through these pieces of information, it is possible to replicate it. Okay, so to bring it to a point where we can understand better, we can see it clearer, like the possibility that a computer has today to pass by a human, meaning like talking to you. I mean, talking through words, right? Through text, right? And you cannot tell for sure if it's a person who is there on the other end, basically, or it's a machine, right? So this is the first way we have to, understand through the lens of modern days what artificial intelligence is. All right. But being more specific, why is it that everyone is talking about artificial intelligence these days? Okay, it is because of a little thing that certainly, if you're listening to me right now, if you're using the internet, if you like listening to podcasts or doing anything online, it is ChatGPT. All right. So ChatGPT, as the name suggests, it's a chat. All right, it's a virtual chat. Just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, that is, it's a big artificial intelligence, if there's such thing. The measuring makes sense, if the measuring makes sense in this case, but it is a artificial intelligence program that saves, everything that people write to it, and it is open to the public, of course. So everyone, so people start writing, basically asking things, interacting with this intelligence. I have done that before. It's very interesting. Probably everyone has, but just in case you don't know what is it that I'm talking about, the ChatGPT thing, right? So the more people write to it, the more it learns, basically. And why is it so interesting? It is interesting because it can write things just as good, just as well as humans can, even better, right? So today, if you have to write, say, an essay about something, or a script for anything, so yeah, it can write anything, okay, just as good as a human could, or much better, you would say, right? Or even if you start interacting with it, asking questions back and forth, if you don't know that, you will think that there's someone behind the screen of your computer, replying, your messages. So it's pretty amazing, pretty mind blowing. Okay. So when I say that the more people use it, the more people write to it, the more it learns, it means that it is constantly learning, constantly evolving. And this is just amazing, isn't it? So that's what ChatGPT is, guys. In case you don't know, now you do. All right. So that's it. One interesting fact about our AI is that it's been used for years. Okay, it hasn't started with ChatGPT. Okay, it started years ago with computers, of course, but most popular terms, and I would say most effective terms, with video games, right? If you're about my age, in your 30s or your 40s, you probably lived in the 90s, grew up in the 90s, and you most certainly played or had a Super Nintendo or a Sega or any video game like that, all right? Even an Atari can be used in this example. So, have you ever wondered how is it that the computer could play with you? That is the video game. When you're say you're playing Street Fighter, okay, against the machine, as we said, right, against the computer. That was and continue being artificial intelligence, a type of artificial intelligence, a pretty rudimentary one, but yet a type of artificial intelligence. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, because if you're playing video game, you must have asked yourself, like, what? How do the enemies in the video game know where and how to attack me? Right? Of course, as I said, it's a very primitive form of artificial intelligence. So, bringing it back to 2023. If you're still playing video games these days, you will realize if you started playing video games in the 90s and you're still playing, you have realized that the video games are much more interactive. Okay, they might not, just opening a parenthesis here, they might not be as challenging as some games in the past. Okay, but that's not because they can go back to it, right? Because this is one thing that people probably didn't like, right? It was quite frustrating, and then they evolved that, to become, so to say, easier in this aspect. But again, that's intentional, okay? The interaction, going back to the AI thing, it is much richer, okay? Meaning it has many more elements, and not only because modern games have more memory, I mean, like space, okay, to storage, the audio files, everything, but because they converse internally much better than they did 25, 30 years ago. Of course, it's no surprise. Now, the key question here is, how much is it AI, artificial intelligence, is going to change our lives? Okay, well, that's a $1 million question. If I knew the answer, I'd probably be millionaire right now, billionaire. So I don't know, but I can tell you my opinion if you're interested. Well, I think that it will change. It has been changing our lives, drastically in the past years, and it will do that even more in the upcoming years. Okay, like everything that requires. Again, here's me speaking, like my opinion, but I believe that everything that requires script. Okay, putting it in simpler terms, like everything that requires putting words in order to, explain something, report something, or make sure an event goes as properly as possible, will will disappear, okay, for lack of a better word. So yeah, using my area as an experience, that is the teaching area, I've heard from my colleagues. I must admit that I am myself a little late on with these technologies, because I've heard colleagues of mine saying that today they don't have to prepare tests anymore. They just give a few commands, word commands, written words commands, to the AI, mostly Chat GPT, and they come up with, say for example, I wanna make a test for my students that will mostly be comprised of verb tenses, for example. I just write it to Chat GPT, and it will deliver that to me in a few seconds, depending on the complexity of the test. If you add more elements, for example, I want X% of this topic and then Y% of the other topic. But, putting in simple words, it makes it for you, So our profession, the teaching profession, will change, Some people say we will be replaced by the artificial intelligence. Well, maybe. Again, never say never, right? But I don't see that coming, at least in the present moment, okay, in the context we're living in. But who knows? Well, as for other professions, one profession I believe will possibly disappear the way it is today, right? Maybe it will change in the future, but the way it is today is the reporters, journalists in general, news anchors, for example, these guys. Okay, why is it that I think? Why is it that I think so? Well, first of all, as I just said before, the ability that the AI possesses of writing reports, okay, essays, texts, novels, you name it, okay. It's a genuine ability. It can do that, as far as I understand it, as far as I know, can do it pretty well. And added to this, the growing and drastically growing feature of emulating voices. Guys, you have no idea. There are like songs, AI can get like your grandfather, okay, not out of the blue, of course. It will be required for him to record his voice in a microphone, in front of a microphone, provided that they can get your grandpa singing Michael Jackson or any song from anywhere in the world. Okay, I'm not gonna say right now it is perfect, because first of all, the moment you hear that, you will say, my grandpa doesn't speak English, provided that your grandpa doesn't speak English, of course. But you get my point, right? So it's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. All right. So my point here is, if they can get, say, your grandpa singing Michael Jackson, considering that your grandpa doesn't even know who Michael Jackson is, or doesn't even sing in English, or doesn't even care about it. It's impressive, isn't it? It's something hard. Isn't that something easy to do? There's many voice, patterns, and lots of things. I could even have only one episode here talking about it, right? But anyways, what about getting like creating a voice from like creating a AI, what's the term, avatar, right? I think it's an avatar. Some companies have their avatar. So creating like avatar journalists, okay, to read the news, okay, or even sign up deals with retired journalists or journalists who have already passed, who are already dead, and their family authorizes their voice to be used and reconstructed via computer, via artificial intelligence technologies and things like that, and get them, reading the news, delivering, reporting stuff, delivering messages. So or even like for the written news, for the newspaper, right? If there will be newspaper in the future, probably yes, right? Not as much as it at today, just as today is not as much as it was in the past, but probably there will be something there, magazines, there will be some written material there. This will all be AI. There's no reason why, I'm not gonna say people will stop writing, of course not. To a certain level, I personally believe that it will never be replaced. Not never, baby. As I said, I never say never, so who knows? But I don't see it coming in the next 100 years, or even thousands of years. Like humans will be humans, and there will always be that difference. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm saving this for the end of this episode. But I'm trying to say here is that I believe people won't stop writing, but journalists, journalists don't write anything deep, like reading the news is not like reading this anywhere in the world, okay, not only in Brazil. So reading the news is not like reading a book. News are, in terms of intensity, they're very shallow. Okay, they're shallow literature, so to say, right? So a machine can perfectly do that. There's no, I'll give you a clear example just to finish this off. So you probably have your favorite writers, okay, favorite authors, regardless of the genre, okay, the literature genre. You have yours, okay? I have mine. But when it comes to journalists, we don't have like, hey, the way this guy writes the news, the way this guy reads the news, it's totally my favorite. It's totally, wow, mind blowing. No, like it's kind of generic. I don't mean to disrespect this profession, right? But it is something shallow, as I say, in terms of passing information along. Okay, it is a shallow thing that will totally be replaced by machines. Of course, when it comes to opinion articles, right, in newspapers, for example, it's a different thing. Okay, I'm not saying AI won't get there. Certainly will. It's on its way to get there, but there's still some road to it, right? And probably humans will still be there in the future. Again, my opinion, who knows for sure at the end of the day. So the last question here, so we can finish for this episode, is it AI something good or bad? All right. Will it destroy jobs? Will it leave hundreds, thousands, if not millions of people jobless? Okay, starving and homeless. All right. Or will it create new jobs? Will it make our lives easier and consequently the world better? A better place to live? Well, the answer to these two questions is yes. All of these things I've just said will occur, will happen, right? But about like leaving people job, of course, save the exaggerations I did, right? I'm not saying people will starve because of AI. I really hope they won't, right? But there will be jobs being canceled, as I just said. There will be jobs becoming redundant and useless or pointless, or at least less required. Okay. But this is the market. This is the way things are. When people came up with electricity hundreds of years ago, a lot of people lost their jobs because of that. And guess what? The world is much better off, with electricity. All right, just bringing one example. Okay, of course, there's room for lots of discussion, and I really hope that authorities and people, influencers will do that. And all of us, of course, here in the background of existence. But I would say that it is more something more good than bad. All right. So don't worry. Okay. Try to learn as much as you can about it. All right. So to make sure you will be competitive as a worker. And that's all. That's it. Just enjoy the trip. Well, that's my opinion, guys. As I said, I'm no expert. So I would really like to hear yours, to read yours. So if there's a way to do that, please do it. Okay. Thank you very much one more time for your company. I really hope to see you and to be with you again in the next episode. Bye bye.